So today's November 14th. It's, I don't know, around 3 p.m. I've got the sun shining in my eyes here. It's around 6-ish degrees Celsius, which is 44, 45, in and around that way, Fahrenheit. Got to wrap all the hives today. It's, I don't know, it's been about a month since I've been into the hives. We had 2 weeks of like really cold weather. It was like minus 10 degrees Celsius overnight. And last weekend was beautiful. I just couldn't get into them. So today, I'm gonna get them wrapped up. I've got some styrofoam, wrap them all in, and some tar paper, and yeah, get them wrapped up, and we'll go through a couple of them here on how we do it, or how I do it, and put the insulation and the burlap in the top to absorb the moisture. So we'll go through that. So this is the colony that was my first walkaway split that I made this year. After I condensed it from taking the honey super off of it that I let them finish, after watching the footage, I noticed this hive really didn't have that many or that good of food stores. You know, there was only really 3 or 4 good frames of capped honey or nectar. And I mean, this is the population in this hive is just booming. So they are not happy either. Give them a bit of smoke. I already got one buzzing me. So I came back 3 weeks ago and gave them a 1.5 gallons of sugar water of 2-to-1. And that's bone dry. So we'll have a quick look here. Just be quick because it is you know, only 6 degrees Celsius today. Just take a quick peek. So I mean, there you go. That's like the population of this hive is just insane. I mean, there's tons of bees in it for a single. So I'm probably still going to end up giving them some dry sugar, but that'll be at a later date once we get a day that's a little bit nicer out. They're a little bit dopey just because it's so cold, but so we'll get that back on there. And I'm gonna grab grab this block, and I usually block off one of the entrances. So the idea between the 2 holes and the lids that I make, in the summer they can, obviously it's just added ventilation, but in the winter I'll block off the front hole, and then I don't really like the lids with the center hole. I think I've got 1 or 2 here that I haven't replaced yet. Just the cluster can't centralize themselves in the box in the winter, so not that they can't, I guess they would just be more apt to not, because the cold air coming in down through that hole. So I put the hole at the back. The hive is tilted forward, so the idea is any air comes in through the front and then would come up through the back to bring the moisture up. Any moisture that would, or the humidity and the heat, any moisture that was created would then drain out the front with a bit of an angle, with a bit of a slope on it. So I'll wrap up a bit of burlap here. Put the burlap in. The idea with the burlap is it'll stop the breeze from, or the draft from going right back in, and any moisture that comes out it won't collect on the bottom of the lid and drip in. It'll collect in here and absorb into the burlap, and then the holes in the vent shim, the air will then draw it out. A little piece of insulation on there just to help out a bit. And then drop the lid back on. Alright, so we'll back the camera up and kind of show what I'm going to wrap them with. This is just some 1-inch rigid foam insulation. I don't know, there's just some stuff I had left over from a basement renovation, so I don't have enough to wrap all of them. I think I've got enough to wrap 5 out of the 8 with it. But we will. We're going to take this little stick out here to break it off. Drop this down here. Grab a couple of pieces of tape. And wrap them up. So now they've got a full 1-inch wrap the whole way around them. And there's enough space here for the air to get up underneath and allow them to vent out. So this is the parallel frame hive. There's never been a vent shim on this hive since I built it, so I've made a vent shim for it. We'll get it winterized here today, so you can see the idea of the vent shim. Look at this. Here's some mildew that's already starting to grow just from the humidity in the hive. You can see right here as well. Grab my smoker. We'll just take a quick peek. Yeah, they're in there. I mean, the population of this hive has been low. Doesn't have the bees boiling out of it like the other one by any means. But there's no lack of food in here, that's for sure. Probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-ish frames of bees when I look down in there. And then looking in the entrance, I can see there is a big cluster underneath, but you know, this may be one that just the population that's in it, they may not make it. We'll see how it goes. I mean, the food in this hive they've got tons of food and resources, but it's probably going to be the number of bees that does them in. So this was the vent shim that I made for this one. Good spot to put that. So there's 3 holes in either side, and then I've just got some screen in it. Run over and grab some burlap. And I got a piece of wood. This one here, when I made it, I wasn't thinking that the entrance would be here. So when I did the holes, I should have done 1 hole here, 1 hole here, but I'll cover this one up for now. All right, and I'm going to wrap this hive as well in some tar paper. Let's wrap the angry hive here. I just cracked the lid, and in true fashion, a few of them come out after me there. It's only around 3:45 in the afternoon, and already the sun's gone over the hill up there. It's probably now around 3 or 4 degrees Celsius. Get the camera up here, and then we'll get these guys wrapped up. Half tempted to crack the lid on this thing just to have a peek and see, but it's a little chilly and I don't want to get them all riled up any more than they already are. Just put that on top there as just a, as this is one of the ones with the lids that's in the center, or sorry, the inner cover with the hole in the center of the inner cover of the lid. So I'll change that out next year, but it should be fine for this year. That in there, and then I'll grab a wrap for the body. I don't know what the R value is of this stuff. I mean, it doesn't really matter, but I wrapped both of my original hives in this last year, and it seemed to work pretty good. And I put the insulation on the top with the vent shim and burlap just to absorb any moisture rather than have it collect on the bottom of the insulation and then drip back in. It'll absorb into the burlap, and then the airflow will wick that moisture out of the hive. So plus they're all tilted, they're on a bit of a forward slope, so anything that does drip back in hits the bottom or runs down the top, down the inside of the hive, and then out the front. All of my entrance reducers, I put them all in the holes all in the center. And I just do it, like, I mean, I think there's only, I don't know, maybe a bit better than 1/4 of an inch there. So they can get in and out, but a mouse wouldn't get in there. So they're all like that. So got 2 more to go here, and we'll wrap this one up next. So we got everybody wrapped up here. Got all the entrance reducers on, and all the ventilation shims. Had enough foam to, or the foam board, to wrap 5 of the colonies. These 2 here, just did them in tar paper just to kind of act like a windbreak, and just to absorb some of the sun's heat on the black material. Should help, you know, warm them on the days that the sun's out anyways. few dead bees there, but that's to be expected. It's a parallel hive. I just pulled the lid off of it, and they're still buzzing away, so. All the hives I have propped up too. I don't know if you can tell in the video, but probably not. Well, you can kind of see they're all on a bit of an angle with a lean towards the front. And then these ones here, I put some sticks under the back of the hives to prop them up to give them a bit of a forward lean as well. So what that's going to do is allow the moisture, any moisture that builds up that doesn't get collected in the burlap, if it drips down inside, it'll run out. And that's also why I put all the entrance reducers right in the middle, or the entrance in the entrance reducer in the middle. Some of them you'll see are, in the sides, but these ones here, I just quickly make them up on the saw and put them in the middle. It seems to work out good. So yeah, that's it. Kind of do a monthly update throughout the winter on the hives. I'll peek into them and do a quick update video just to see how they're all doing, and yeah, keep our fingers crossed.